we wholeheartedly welcome each one of you who have entered this room. Swagatam. Let's all together thank Dr. Sheikh Sultan bin Mohammad Al Qasmi, ruler of Sharjah, for bringing this chapter every year with his love to the written word and making us all love the words. Thank you, sir. Inviting onto the dais a pair I've always admired. Theatre to celluloid. Inviting Gina Isika Namhe, the presenter, actor, philanthropist, Mr. Farooq Sheikh. Swagatam, sir.
Welcome each and every one of you, and especially Dipti ji and Farooq sir. Since the introduction has already been given, I'd just like to add few more things about Dipti ji. Who is real Dipti ji? She is an actress, a painter, a poet, a writer, and an excellent human being who has the zeal and the courage to grow through the sharp currents of life. The zeal of her is reflected in her work. Her literary work started from 1981. I think her filmy career started in 1977. So just after 4 or 5 years, she started. It was a Hindi collection, Lamhe Lamhe 1981. Then she did a lot of good movies, which we are all aware of. And some big ones are also there. Masala, Mish Masala, Chashme Padur. The two people are here. Then in 2004, she came out with Black Wind. And then finally, in 2011, collection of short stories. For Farooq sir, he has been always supporting books and reading habits, and has been very closely associated with National Book Trust initiative of promoting Indian literature abroad as well as in India. And when Sharjah Book Fair and the National Book Trust sat together to coin this special theme that it would be a journey of Dipti ji from Lamhe Lamhe to the Mad Tibetan, it was but natural that Farooq ji should be the right person to do justice. Now I request Farooq ji to introduce Dipti ji, the writer, and to lead us in the journey from Lamhe Lamhe to...
The gentleman who spoke first was very right in mentioning that we are really grateful and we are honored that the ruler, the Sheikh of Sharjah, has taken such a keen interest and continues to take interest regarding the book fair. And whatever one has heard and read about him, he epitomizes the kind of persona that he has, and that is why, although I'm very fond of the place, the hustle bustle and the madness of Dubai is not to be found in Sharjah. So you can live here in a little more peaceful atmosphere. That also has a lot to do with the kind of persona that the Sheikh himself has. So we are all grateful to him as well. And of course to Jacob Saab and NBT and my friends here who sort of insisted that we come here, and it's been a delightful experience up to now. The less I speak, the more time we get with Dipti ji to speak. Also, the difficulty is that it's a little problematic for me to say a good thing about Dipti ji because I know her for too long.
Too bad.
So my association with Dipti ji extends to, I think, 35 years or something like that. So we've known each other for a long time, and Dipti ji tells me that she tells me that we have done about 7 or 8 films together. So she has had a fill of me. And, now onwards, whatever she does, it is a great test of her patience. But she's a gracious lady and she puts up with it very nicely. Dipti ji is, when she came first to India, I remember she was coming down from the US where she has studied and where she lived for a long time, where her parents had a home and they still have a home. And we met this very interesting young lady who said that I've come to India to do meaningful cinema. And then she, got in touch with common friends. She got in touch with respectable filmmakers like Gulzar Saab and others. She did some very nice work for the FTII, which is the Film and Television Institute at Pune. And then she did that very nice film called Ek Baar Phir. I was incidentally supposed to do that film, but I was not so lucky at that time. And then Pradeep Verma sahab, who I think got lost after doing that film. See, this is what happens to people who do work with Deepti. They get lost. So Pradeep Verma sahab has gone into hibernation. But after that, we did a number of films together. Recently we did a very nice film called Listen Amaya, in which Deepti played a principal character. And what I have noticed is that she does not allow her exterior to tell you too much about what is happening in her head. Because it must be a little strange to you also to learn, for the first time I'm sure, that she writes poetry, she writes prose, she writes travel pieces, because she travels such a lot all on her own. She drives herself to the remote corners of the country and places where you and I would think twice before going. I remember the first time that I came to learn that Deepti ji writes was on the sets of a film called Saath Saath, which Deepti ji and I were doing together. There was some picturization which was largely picturized on me, but Deepti ji and others were giving reactions. A common friend, Mr. Raman Kumar, at that time didn't tell me that when they had picturized the song earlier, they had found that I had messed up the picturization very badly. So they said, नहीं वो अच्छा नहीं हुआ, वो कुछ technical problem है, हम उसको फिर से कर रहे हैं. So we were shooting it in the night and I was very happy कि चलो फिर से कर रहे हैं और भी अच्छा करेंगे. वो ये मुझे बाद में पता चला कि बेवकूफ़ तेरी वजह से फिर से हो रहा है. But at that picturization, I remember one time late in the evening, Deepti ji came and said that I have written a book on Hindustani poetry and it was called Lamha Lamha. So Javed Akhtar sahab was there because he wrote the songs for Saath Saath and wonderful songs too. So he was very surprised, I was very surprised, and she gave us copies to read and we all understood that there is more to Deepti ji than what the screen shows. Thereafter, as one got to know her better, we were doing another film together and she told me that this is a copy of the collection of short stories that I'm going to have published, and why don't you take a look at one or two. So I saw and I realized that they are really good. That was when we were shooting for Listen Amaya. And that's the collection that has come out in the Mad Tibetan. So with a certain sense of feeling, always come up with things that are better than the ordinary. So the Mad Tibetan is a book that I'd really recommend to a lot of people, and if you have not had the chance to pick up a copy, ask her where they are available. I think they are available in most cities. It is available here? Oh, good. So please grab a copy and do read it because they're really very good story. Then she's written the other one on English poetry. Then she does her painting, and then she does several things that I spoke about. So let me just quickly get down to talking to Deepti ji and ask her कि Deepti ji ये जो लिखने का आपका शौक है, you're okay with Hindi also ना? Oh great. लिखने का आपका जो शौक है ये मतलब एक्टिंग से पहले का है या एक्टिंग के बाद का है?
लिखना एक्चुअली पहले का है. I was in New York. I was studying in New York where I did my college. तो राइटिंग क्योंकि शुरू से मेरे फादर राइटर लिखते थे, राइटर रहे या नहीं, लेकिन वो लिखते थे, वो इंग्लिश पढ़ाते थे और लिंग्विस्ट थे, तो लिखना पढ़ना तो माहौल वो बचपन से ही था. इट वाज अ वेरी एकेडमिक काइंड ऑफ एन एनवायरनमेंट दैट आई वाज ब्रॉट अप इन. तो जब न्यूयॉर्क में जब कॉलेज कर रही थी तो in those days I was reading Ghalib and then Sahil Ludhianvi and Faiz Ahmed Faiz. तो वो ऐसा लगा था मुझे कि उससे पहले स्कूल में कुछ जॉटिंग्स वगैरह डायरीज़ में अंग्रेज़ी में पोइट्री लिखने की कोशिश ये वो रही, लेकिन जब कॉलेज में थी तब मुझे लगा कि नहीं, हमारी अपनी एक ज़बान है, मैं क्यों अंग्रेज़ी में लिखूँ, अंग्रेज़ी तो सब यहाँ तो सभी बोलते हैं, तो हमारी अपनी एक इट वाज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ आई थिंक माय आइडेंटिटी कि आई शुड राइट इन माय लैंग्वेज वुड बी हिंदी, उर्दू, हिंदुस्तानी,
also Punjabi.
Punjabi, yeah, but surprisingly I never wrote a word in Punjabi. Though in my first collection of poetry, I did use Punjabi words in Urdu poetry के बीच में, वो एक था एक, लेकिन वो लिखना जो है वो पहले से, कॉलेज के टाइम पर। फिर ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ आने के बाद इंडिया जब आ गई, फिल्म्स ज्वाइन कर ली, फिर वो थोड़े धीरे धीरे वो जो वो एक आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस जो तो होता है वो डाइल्यूट हुआ, आइडेंटिटी अपनी बन गई थी, एंड देन आई वेंट बैक टू राइटिंग इन इंग्लिश। I said, let it come straight the way it comes in the head, let me put it out straight like that. तो पहले हिंदुस्तानी पोइट्री हुई, लम्हा लम्हा, I'll just make you see the book.
As we go along, would you like to read from the book?
हाँ, मैं पढ़ देती हूँ थोड़ा सा।
So we can,
जो
get
मैं
another
कहती हूँ
feel of
कि
it. Yeah.
ये जो फेज था, ये थोड़ा सा जो रोमांटिक फेज होता है, when before you really experienced life, your ideas about life, that और उस तरह से एक पोएम पढ़ देती हूँ।
मेरे ख्याल से 2-3 पढ़ ली है, शाम आप ही की है।
चलिए एक लेट मी रीड फ्रॉम दिस, इट्स कॉल्ड रेगिस्तान की रात। लम्हा लम्हा से है, फ्रॉम फर्स्ट कलेक्शन, ये 81-82 में पब्लिश हुआ था। रेगिस्तान की रात है और आंधियां सी, रेगिस्तान की रात है और आंधियां सी, बनते जाते हैं निशान, मिटते जाते हैं निशान। दो अकेले से कदम, दो अकेले से कदम, ना कोई रहनुमा ना कोई हमसफर। रेत के सीने में दफन है ख्वाबों की नर्म सांसें, ये घुटी घुटी सी नर्म सांसें ख्वाबों की, थके थके दो कदमों का सहारा लिए, ढूंढती फिरती हैं सूखे हुए बयाबानों में, शायद कहीं कोई साहिल मिल जाए। रात के आखिरी पहर से लिपटे इन ख्वाबों से, इन भटकते कदमों से, इन उखड़ती सांसों से, कोई तो कह दो भला रेत के सीने में कहीं साहिल होते हैं।
तो गुड स्टार्ट था, रेगिस्तान की रात और वो भी शारजा में। तो बाहर निकलते ही आपको एहसास हो जाएगा कि दीप्ति जी क्या कह रही थी।
सो वो जो एक वो जो लाइफ का द अर्ली फेज जो होता है, which I call the romantic phase of your life before the hardships begin to, unfold. तो उस टाइम की एक ये पोएम है। सफ़ेद कागज़ पे पानी से तुम्हारे नाम एक नज़्म लिखी है मैंने। तिलिस्मी रातों पर जब चांद का पहरा होगा, तमाम उम्र सिमट कर जब एक लम्हे में ढल जाएगी, काशनी अंधेरों के तले जब कांच के धागों की तरह पानी की रुपहली सतह पर खामोशी थिरकती होगी, और झील के उस किनारे पर मचलेंगी चांद की 16 परछाइयाँ। मैं इस पार बैठकर सुनाऊंगी तुम्हें सफ़ेद कागज़ पे पानी से तुम्हारे नाम जो नज़्म लिखी है मैंने। पूछ बैठता है कोई जब भूले से कभी नाम मेरा, खामोश लफ्ज़ों में कहा करती हूँ वो देखो। धुंध में लिपटी वादी के कोने में दूर कहीं एक रोशनी जो यूं ही जला करती है अकेले में, पहचान है मेरी। या किसी बयाबान जंगल के धुंधलके से गुजरते हुए कभी देखा होगा वो सुलगता हुआ अलाव, करीब से जिसके उठकर खाना बदोश। या फिर भीगी हुई सी रात में सुनसान सड़क के किनारे झोंपड़ी की चौखट पर जलती लालटेन की लौ। वही तो हूँ मैं, हाँ वही, वो अंधेरों की पनाह में जलती बुझती शमा सी। तुम चाहो तो दीप्ति कहकर बुला लो मुझको।
हाँ एक आध और पढ़ते हैं, then we can come to the other one which is in English. There is an expansive sweep to her writing. And actually यहाँ बैठ के दीप्ति की तारीफ दीप्ति जी के मुंह पे करना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है।
एक तो आपके मुंह से दीप्ति जी सुनना ही बड़ा अजीब लगता है।
वो रेगिस्तान की रात है ना, तो फिर रेगिस्तान की सारी तमीज़ें जो है नज़र में रखनी पड़ती हैं।
ये कुछ एक सेक्शन है, इट्स कॉल्ड पगडंडिया, व्हिच मींस शॉर्ट। कुछ और नहीं, हाँ, I'll just read a few of these 2-liners, 3-liners, हाँ। सर्द तन्हाई की रात। मैंने पोइट्री में उस टाइम पर, इट वाज द अर्ली 80s, 81 की ये पोएम है, ये किताब छपी हुई है। उस वक्त मैंने एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था। कुछ लफ्ज़ जो मिलते तो ज़रूर अगर ढूंढे जाएं तो, बट आई प्रेफर टू use some Punjabi words in my poetry because of the way they sound and the exactness of what I wanted to say. So उसमें एक दो कुछ शब्द ऐसे लफ्ज़ हैं। सर्द तन्हाई की रात और कोई देर तक चलता रहा, यादों की बुक्कल ओढ़े। बुक्कल इज जो यहाँ पे औरतें रैप, और वो जो ब्लैंक, हाँ, बदन पे ओढ़ा हुआ जो रैप है। और सर्द तन्हाई की रात और कोई देर तक चलता रहा, यादों की बुक्कल ओढ़े। अकेली होती अगर इन वादियों में तो कभी लौट कर ना आती, क्यों ख्याल बनकर साथ साथ चलते रहे तुम। मैं उस धूल की मानिंद हूँ, मैं उस धूल की मानिंद हूँ जिसे हवाएं समेटती कभी बिखेरती हैं। कुछ लोगों को जिंदगी से निकाला नहीं जाता, हाँ, रिश्ते बदल लिए जाते हैं।
You also write very comfortably, very true, no? You want me to read it again? Or like echoes of past experience? But she also writes very expansively in English. So can we request you to read the Black Wind, because it's a different phase of her writing also. Black Wind came after Lamha Lamha, so there is a different phase and a different thinking pattern, also a little change in maturity, and that shows in the writing.
You know, Black Wind has been कुछ ऐसा कहते हैं लोग कि this is very dark poetry, so it makes the reader a little uncomfortable. But the way I look at life, I feel dark is as precious in life as the lighter, the brighter side of, because this experience also, in fact, more enriches you, and then you see the whole gamut of, you know, living a life, उसके सारे जो पहलू, उसका सब। तो मुझे कभी कभी ऐसे सुनने में आता है कि नहीं, वो ब्लैक विंड तो बड़ी डार्क, तो मैं कहती हूँ कि इट्स ओके, वन इज़ कंफर्टेबल, आई मीन देयर आर, दीज आर डिफरेंट फेजेस। और ये जब इनफैक्ट व्हाई आई स्विच बैक टू राइटिंग इन इंग्लिश, बिकॉज जब वो थोड़ी सी हार्शर रियलिटीज़ ऑफ लाइफ जब सामने आई तो उनके बारे में लिखने की ज़रूरत पड़ी। तो मुझे लगा कि उर्दू, हिंदी में, हिंदुस्तानी में लिखना जो है ना, वो बहुत लोडेड, हैवी ड्यूटी हो जाएगा। सो आई वांटेड टू से द हार्डर थिंग्स, बट से कह के निकल गए, मतलब इस तरह से एक मुझे लगा कि आई could get away with it more easily by saying it in English. So I'll just go through a few of these. Certain images that I couldn't implement in my script. So those images came out as poems, and I must read 2 of them, and then I'll go to the short stories. These are real women. These are women that I came to know. I lived with them. I got to understand और empathize, तो खैर बहुत छोटी सी बात है, but began to kind of, see the very thin line, you know, which is sanity and insanity. She stands at one end of the veranda. A naked bulb glows at the other end, staining the dark floor with dull yellow light. Beyond the empty ward drag echoes of the autumn night. From pillar to pillar, in severe silence, skulk slithering shadows. Out alone in the cold, she stands night after night, fighting her demons. Her body frail and brittle, flaps leaf-like on two glass feet. The torched face broken, then tacked together so bluntly the ragged joints show. Hounded eyes that do not blink. Frozen in a death-like glaze, her fragile spirit splintered. These are not the features she was born with. These are not the features she was born with. This is the face we gave her.
Oh, wow, very nice. Very nice.
This is a poem called Goddess. It was a girl who had just come in and from the OPD, from where she was the outpatient section, to her actually in my several visits after that winter, I saw her journey inside the mental asylum, and from that I wrote the poem. It's called Goddess. She was a very spirited, wonderful, brilliant, sparkling soul who came in, and then her journey. I'm Durga, I'm Kali, the goddess. No one can conquer me. She pulled the crown off the idol's head and wore it on herself. The crowds were aghast. They swore at her, chased her with sticks, stones, screams. But she slipped into the wilds, flying beyond their reach. At the magic hour when sun and rain dazzled the earth, she danced and skipped, jumped and leaped, chasing a single rainbow. Light-footed she glided through the celestial landscape, wearing her cheap silver crown. She tripped the light luminous. I'm Durga, I'm Kali. A frog leapt in the slush. She lunged towards it, caught it. Croaky frog twitching in her left hand, stick in the right, a tinsel crown aslant her forehead. She was one with the elements, with earth, with sky, with slush, with trees, with breeze. Dancing, mesmerizing her gods. Her laughter gurgled in the wind, her feet spinning the good earth. And then the villagers caught her. Caught her by her feet, dragged her through the sludge. Frog stick crown dragged behind, straggled on the muddy track. She's too dangerous to be left free. They signed on a piece of paper, dumped her in the loony bin, wiped the vermilion off her forehead, chopped the long black hair, raised it to scalp, locked her behind the solid grill, left her squalling on the cold, dank floor.